people at Patreon voted.
Here I am.
And since my last audio didn't turn out as well as I had hoped, so you're here.
Yeah. Hello.
Which is pretty fun.
Something different. Why not?
I feel like it's going to become a thing, and everyone's going to want both of our opinions on all the anime all the time.
They can let us know.
They can let us know. And yeah, I did a Cyberpunk tattoo.
Hell yeah, you did. It was awesome.
It was fun.
Lucy and David was in the background as well there.
Yeah. And I had the like little moon helmet.
Yeah,
as well.
sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was a really fun tattoo. And my first Cyberpunk one.
Yeah.
Because nobody's asking for Cyberpunk tattoos when they really should be.
Don't understand why. It literally won Best Anime for Crunchyroll last year.
Yeah.
It's that good.
And you haven't done one yet?
I haven't done any. Not one.
You want to do one, so
yeah.
I hope you get one
We
soon.
need to sort that out. I'm doing your booking soon though, so hit me up.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I hope you get one.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, it was really fun. Ben was awesome, and I tried recording us talking about it, but there was too much background noise, so it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But he sat really well for like the whole day. It's a lot of colours in Cyberpunk
so
in
many
general.
colours. That's why it's so fun though.
Yeah. Tattooing wise, it's like hard not to. You gotta do it real strategically, because then when you wipe, you don't want to get like the blues and the pastels, or like you don't want to stain
End up
it,
ruining your
so-
photo. Like, it never stains it permanently,
No.
but it can still ruin the
Yeah.
end photo.
Yeah. Or just all the redness of the skin, just
Yeah.
from trying to pack that many different colours into like different areas and gradients. And, yeah.
And when you're trying to video the process as well, keeping all that clean, pretty tricky.
It was super fun.
Had your work cut out for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of this one.
Yeah, you should
I think it turned out well.
Mhm.
And it was a nice challenge doing like a different, like Trigger have such a unique style.
Yeah.
It was cool trying to replicate that in skin,
Mm.
because I think that's a lot harder than it looks.
When you're trying to capture that energy when they draw so fast, and then
Yeah.
tattooing is so slow inherently.
It's the opposite of how Trigger works.
Trying to
pretty
capture that without being able to use the same techniques is pretty hard.
much. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's where the challenge makes it fun.
I feel like the same happens with like Mob Psycho, like when you did that mob piece
yeah.
with all the crazy colours. It's
Had
like
to do it in 2 sessions, it's just too tricky.
yeah, you get a taste of it.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I get to do another one soon, so yeah, looking
cool.
forward to that. And I feel like I have a better idea of how to tackle it now after
Yeah.
doing one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not easy.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, but that's the fun stuff.
Yeah. And it's
Get to challenge
just
ourselves.
such a good anime.
Yeah, it is.
So
Should get into what makes it good.
yeah, there's so much that makes it good.
Yeah,
though.
where do you even start?
Like we were saying, we could talk about this anime for hours on end,
Easy.
and it's just a 10-episode anime, but there's just so much to unpack.
Yeah. I think even just like the revival of the game shows like how good it was. Like the game on release was not good. Like it was a huge flop. I think everyone's aware of that.
Super buggy.
Yeah, like T-posing everywhere, just like you climb onto a cab and you blow up into the air, like you don't answer one of your phone calls and then you're locked out of missions. It was like basically unplayable.
Keanu can only do so much.
Yeah.
He can only like carry
He tried
it.
to hard carry, but yeah, at a certain point you just can't. But yeah, I'm not sure the actual stats, but it was something like a 400% increase in player base after the anime came out.
Whoa.
So that shows
Yeah.
just how good the anime is. Especially when it was one that was released straight to Netflix, so like not a lot of people take it seriously when it's like a Netflix anime. But yeah, it's now like got crazy popularity to the point that it's extended to the game.
Yeah. And you like played it after watching it, and I kind of watched you play it.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean,
I
like
had
you
no
didn't-
desire to play the game
Yeah.
after watching Connor play 3 hours of it and just like giving up because it was that bad.
They definitely fixed things though, because I don't
Yeah.
think you had that many bugs when you played.
Nah, so
Yeah.
yeah, a year on, it was like very much playable. I only had one bug, and that was one of the hand-to-hand fighting ones. I turned up, and the guy who was supposed to be fighting with me was laying on the ground, melting into his car with his arms liquefying, like coming across towards me. It's like, you want to fight, bro? And he's got like these wiggly, like liquid arms coming at me.
Like, what are you
his head
fighting
starts
with?
liquefying. I'm like, yeah, sweet, like, try me. But turns out I couldn't even trigger the quest, so I had to reload my save. But that was an easy fix. That's the only bug I had all game. So
Like,
I'd say it is playable now.
I
so
think they
worth
should
a shot.
thank Trigger hard for
Yeah.
like the resurgence that game got because
Definitely.
of the anime. Because I think so many people, like you and I just didn't even bother.
No.
Had given up on it by that point.
And like not just the bad press, like Pokemon got bad press for like Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
For all the bugs, and then you played it and it was fine.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just unlucky, but
and if they fix things quick enough, it's usually fine.
Yeah.
But
a year of patches.
It's a lot.
Quite a lot. Some people make a game in a year.
Yeah. And then I mean they're even luckier that, you know, they took home Anime of the Year, and that just, I think, blew it up more.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we're constantly recommending anime to people who we're tattooing.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk was definitely the ones that I was just like, you have to watch this. Like,
that was
everyone.
my Anime of the Year, hands down. Like, Bleach was up there, but surprisingly. But,
but the new season of Bleach is really good.
It's a massive step up from the old stuff, but still Cyberpunk. There was no competition.
Yeah.
They definitely deserved to win Best Anime.
And I think keeping it short meant people weren't signing up for something like One Piece or even like Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Even though that's won Anime of the Year previous years, it's like, that's been so drawn out now. It was really nice to have just like a 10-episode anime that was like balls to the wall crazy.
I'm a big fan of that.
Just take home Anime of the Year and it'd be like, that was it for the year. Like, they're not going to do a second season. That was it, but it annihilated Anime of the Year.
It's definitely one of my hot takes. Is like an anime doesn't have to be long to be good.
Yeah.
Like everyone's favorite anime is like One Piece or Naruto or Bleach or like all things that are like 500 plus episodes, 1,000 episodes even.
Yeah.
But that's something can be that good in 10 episodes. That's like real quality to me.
And have like so much to talk about within that 10 episodes.
Yeah.
It shows, and like that much character development, and just overall epicness and storytelling and everything in 10 episodes. Like, you don't need to world build for 50.
No.
Just for somebody to get attached.
Yep.
Or for it to like justify winning Anime of the Year. Or
and not that being long makes it bad, but it's I don't think you need to use that much time. And this anime is the prime example of that.
Yeah. I think definitely for Cyberpunk, Trigger was the perfect studio to do it.
Yep, hands down.
I don't think there's like MAPPA are great, but they've got so many like anime and manga adaptations in the works, and they're already taking on so much.
Yeah.
And you know.
And I think like if you were to go with MAPPA, it would have had to be when Cyberpunk was still on board. Like his God High School, despite being rushed, had like enough of that kind of crazy energy to it that like it could have translated. Like the way he uses his colors and like mixes in weird textures and like hype soundtracks and stuff. Like he could have done it, but the general MAPPA team, like I don't know if it would have been quite the same.
Yeah. And just like their use of bright colors, crazy perspective shots.
Yeah. Like Trigger's known for crazy.
Yeah. Especially with like things like when you've got, you know, like Main's massive hands and Becca's guns and things, some of the perspective shots on that were just so cool.
Yeah.
And even just the way I don't know if there's another studio that could have done this Endeavor Stand like technique as well as Trigger could have done it. And that was like something that you were getting really into, and then to see a studio do that, it was like, oh my god. Because you were calling it like the after image stuff.
Yeah.
And trying to push that in your tattoos.
I'd only really seen it in a couple of manga, not even animated before. Like there was one shot in Demon Slayer and the Entertainment District arc, or the Red Light District arc if you're reading the manga, where he's fighting Ducky, and he's like dashing over, and there's like 3 or 4 shots of him behind each other. And then all through God of High School as well was the other place that I'd seen it. But to see that like animated in Trigger's style was so cool. And,
and with all the color gradients and just
they simplified it back.
Yeah.
They weren't doing full body shots. It was literally just like a split second behind to show the time it slowed down, which was like a really cool way of doing it, where it's a bit more minimal.
Yeah.
So that might even translate better to tattoo.
Yeah, they've definitely got Trigger's style down. I think we're a big fan of Studio Trigger in general.
Favorite studio.
And like all the anime are great, but I think Cyberpunk really like refined everything from what they've previously done into one anime. Like you've definitely got Kill la Kill vibes in there, you've got Gurren Lagann vibes, you've got like everything.
Like the amount of colours in Promare, it's like they kind of got more and more wild, and like we loved that, but for some people it was a little bit too much. So
I think too, because Promare didn't have many outlines to it, which made
it was all about colour.
Yeah,
it seemed like a bit of an experiment, but this kind of like roped them back in a little bit, while still having that cyberpunk world, which is full of like intense neon rainbow colours against like dark backgrounds. which just like worked really well for what they tried to pull off in Premiere, but just restricted a little bit more to kind of that gritty aesthetic, especially leading into the hyperviolence with like kids exploding and just like red splashes going up entire walls and stuff. Like it was just massive splashes of color everywhere, which worked so well.
And I think there's something about trigger characters that they're really good at their expressions and drawing expressions and intense emotions in a way that's so different to your standard animes.
Yeah, they're the best at dynamic drawing, and it's a world that really needs that. Like the whole story is just about extremes, whether it's the world like going from like the nicest things to the worst things, or if it's the characters going from like the deepest sorrows through to the highest highs,
Yeah, and you've got such extreme personalities throughout it that if they're not if those characters aren't animated properly and able to portray, those expressions correctly, it's just gonna fall short emotionally.
Exactly.
As well.
Like half of the appeal with Lucy was that first scene when she's like on the stretcher with him and she's looking at him all crazy. Her head's all like zoomed right up. She's like wheeling that down a motorway, which like to make that make sense, like she needed to look a little bit nuts. Like they needed to capture that, and for like David to seem shocked from that, like it needed to work. Like Becca's expressions in general to carry her energy. It wouldn't work in anyone else's.
Even Becca's brother, just like how wild and loose he was. Just to get that movement across on the characters as well. I just don't think another anime studio can pull it off quite like Trigger can.
Like voice-wise, he had that sort of present mic sort of energy from My Hero, but it was just cranked up to 11. With his like motions and everything to back it up. It wasn't just the voice. It was like that combined with the art style, with the movement, with everything.
And we were lucky enough to meet two of the Trigger people at Overload.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Really amazing, and to see just him drawing. And what he can draw in 20 minutes is just nuts. Bizarre. And even just getting our signings, and they drew little pictures for us. And
getting a little
2-minute sketches, and
Becca
you're just
and
like,
Lucy
how?
a minute each. But they still look so cool. Watching their panels. Like, definitely big thanks to Song and Graphic Novel Cafe for bringing them over. Some of the coolest guests we could have asked for.
Yeah, for sure. And just like even them admitting, like we're a fast-paced anime studio, and some people will like it, some people won't, but they weren't apologetic about it either.
I think that's why there's so much personality in their work, because they're not making it for a general audience, they're just making what they enjoy, and that happens to resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, and I guess because most of their stories are like their stories, I think. Like Kill la Kill is just so nuts.
But rewatching that recently, and it's like there's points where they're just like, don't worry about the plot.
Exactly.
if you read all the dialogue as like a narrative, it still works. It's not necessarily even about the characters. It's just like, we're just going to do some crazy shit now. Hold on.
They definitely know where to balance things out as well, not just in terms of artwork, but in terms of like storytelling and like where the feels come in, where the heavy, deep philosophical things come in, where the politics are going to come in, and like having those characters on a journey. I think they're really good at world building and storytelling and character development. Like they've got it all really well balanced and sorted out.
But their style like kind of lends itself better to that soft world building, where it's like it's so intense that they just give you the essential information, and it kind of implies that there's a lot more there. They're not spelling out everything about the political structure of the world or everything, because it's not necessary. They know how to get it across really quickly, the same way that they do through their animation, where it'll only be a few frames that shows this huge movement. I think that's what they're best at doing. And
I think it makes it cooler to talk about as well, because it's not, you can get some really cool fan theories like on Gurren Lagann and Spiral Theory. Like, because really everything's cool not super well explained, and they're not doing this in-depth, thing telling you like the ins and outs of how everything works. It's just like, here's the stuff, here's what's happening, make of it what you will, and like, and
left a bit to the imagination.
And then we go, and it's just crazy. You don't even really have time to ask questions until it's all over, and then you're like, fuck.
But there's still a lot there to unpack if you do want to rewatch it, so it gives it everything you need on a first watch, but then, when you rewatch it, you can dig into it deeper and deeper each time. And definitely the soundtrack on Cyberpunk slapped. Like whether it was the hype songs or the sad song that makes you cry every single time that I really want to stay at your house.
I've cried so many times. Every time I watch it, I cry.
Yeah. Like when I was playing the game, and then I was just in some like Ripper Doc's house, just like going through
like,
killing some people, and the sad song comes on, you just start crying. It's like not even in context. So it's definitely good song choice. There.
Anime's given me PTSD, guys.
Yeah. But if out of context, the song can still elicit those emotions. Like once you've attached it to that, that's really good choice, I think.
Even like because a lot of the songs are in the game, right?
Yeah, quite a few of them. Like I think. Yeah, I don't know. It could be all of them.
But then even knowing where to take those songs and then put them in relation to the anime, like they did such a good job. Of that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they added some more, but I haven't looked into it. But I was surprised. I don't like Franz Ferdinand, and that opening track is just perfect for the opening theme. Like it's just the way that they've used the songs rather than the songs themselves. It's really good choice to just carry the energy of whatever scene they're trying to do, or the opening or the ending or whatever. Just all being really good choices.
Even like that song that's got someone who was like in Rancid, obviously like his voice, like that punk kind of voice, and then like putting that at a moment where like he's literally walking the streets and stuff. Like it just kind of like gives it this feel where you're like all the songs really fit to whatever context they're using them in.
Definitely.
And it's so smart. It's not just like...
It's a huge range of songs too, because Cyberpunk isn't just punk. Like, there's some punk and some metal, but there's also like, hip-hop tracks.
There's like crazy
EDM
metal
tracks.
songs.
There's all sorts.
And with that main part, and you're just like, this is just straight death metal. Like, what is happening? And then we have Franz Ferdinand, and you're like, you use the range of it so well. Yeah. It's crazy.
I think that is just like one of the biggest strengths of the anime is the huge range, whether it is from the saddest sad parts to the most hyped, intense action parts. Yeah, they've got it all.
And it can like switch up quite quickly, even just from being like silence to being like heavy metal, and you're not really thinking twice about it because it fits with whatever's going on.
Yeah, and it's a good way to transition the scenes quickly as well, which helps with their quick cuts.
Yeah.
The characters are really the star of the show, though.
The anime would be nothing without the characters, because they're just so well done.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of development that they get in 10 episodes is insane. Like, that we can have 1,000 episodes of One Piece, and we still only really know about Luffy that he likes meat and fighting. And we can have, like, so much growth between, especially, like, Lucy and David. Their growth is huge. Like, Lucy has a whole separate arc in the second half.
And I think, like, while a lot of them are, like, specific personality types, like, you could make them put them in a personality type box. They're not tropes.
No.
Like, they're not like Luffy and Goku.
Yeah.
Where they just want to eat and fight.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Which is nothing wrong with that, and like shonen as its place. But for something like this, it requires real characters with real struggles and showing how they handle those struggles as well.
Yeah, these characters have so many different personalities, and to watch how then, like, it's their personalities and how those personalities react in the world that they're living in, and then you understand
and
their
with each other as
more.
well. The crew would be nothing without each other.
Even like just having someone like Maine who, like, obviously has his past trauma, but then is carrying on like the crew and carrying the crew. And then how he takes on David, and like the connection there through his mum, and
but he's
like,
reluctant to. He's still not like totally open to everyone. But then once you're in his crew, like that's it, your family. Like he'll look after you like nothing else.
And everything's fair. Everything's distributed easily.
It's the only way he operates.
Exactly. And then like
to the point that rubs off on David, and then he takes that on in the second half, and he kind of tries to live up to that and takes on Main's dreams.
Yeah, and it's not like any character is lacking. Like, even Kiwi, you can understand, like, why she does some things and why she's distant. And you can understand everyone's distance with each other because you're living in a world that's pretty much giving you trauma on the daily.
And she's learned that distrust. She says from the start that, like, yeah, you have to look out for yourself. That's one of the first things she says to Lucy.
Yeah, she tries to, like, instill that in Lucy, like, the only person you can trust is you, and, like, don't even get caught up in David. Like, don't go there, like, attached to no one, and that's kind of sad, but it's what she's been taught through her trauma. Yeah. I mean, you could delve into literally every character in this anime and do a full discussion on any one of them because they're so well fleshed out.
Like, Kiwi's still quite a side character, but then, like, her, like, right at the end when she's going back through and, like, it's almost like she kind of regrets betraying everyone, basically. Even though that was her whole goal the whole time. Like, it's like, look out for herself, always put herself first, even if that means at the cost of the crew. But then, when she does it, she has to revisit that. Yeah.
Even characters like Doria or Falco, like, even though they maybe, probably, I would say, have less lines than the other characters, they still have their motives and what's important to them, and they still play such an integral role in the story.
And I say Falco is a good, like, parallel to Kiwi, where, like, he tries to stay more reserved, except he actually manages it. I'd say Kiwi still gets attached, even though she tries not to. Whereas, he is still just the driver from start to finish. He's the Alfred.
And he's like, just call me when you need me, but other than that, I'm not getting caught up in the shit.
He's reliable, he's always there, but, like, when it comes to it, he's going to do what's right.
I wonder if also, like, that comes down to their roles within it, like, the stuff that Kiwi sees from, you know, doing the net running versus Falco just driving. Because
the net running does seem a bit more kind of like, it exposes you more to that.
The dangers and stuff like that.
Whereas he's allowed to take that step back and just be the driver.
So, like, even the roles that they play within the gang and their personalities, like, all fit together and flow well, and it all makes sense. And I think, like, obviously, Lucy and David's character development is probably the most intense one.
Well, they are the stars of the show. Like, they're the main love interest of the hero and the heroine.
Gets you attached to the tragedy.
For sure.
And I think David's development from, like, the start, when he literally just doesn't even know what to do with himself, like, he's so disconnected, watching the laundry then die, the washing machine die, and just being like, you can get that sense that he's just, like, floating through his life.
He's just going to school because his mum wants him to. Doesn't really have any goals in life. Like,
doesn't really have any friends.
Shooting DDs for fun, but, like, he doesn't fit in anywhere. And then, going through to having the crew, to starting to lose some of the crew, and watching how he tries to latch on to that as it starts to slip through his fingers.
Having his first crush, and then getting the girl, and what's that like? And
even though he's got the girl, she's so complex that it's like she's not really letting him in once he does have her. And she's trying to do her best to look after him, but can't. And
then he's just this kid that just kind of takes on the dreams of everyone else around him. And I'm like just bittersweet about David, because it's like, I want him to have his own dreams, but then it's also like his own dream is to carry the dreams of everyone else.
Well, he never really got a chance to form his own dreams.
No, he didn't.
He got thrown into this world so fast and chewed up to spit out, but still, he died with a smile on his face. So.
He was still happy. I just think by the end of it, his dream was to kind of be with Lucy, but he had kind of decided on his dream too late to see it fully through. And that's where the tragedy lies.
And I think because all of their character arcs tied so heavily into the world, but it's like, no matter what their motivations are, it's like you're not going to get that. It is such a twisted, corrupt world. But I think that's what makes it so interesting, is it's like, how they still maintain that hope throughout, regardless of what it is, like what shape that takes for them. That's watching their struggle, and sometimes it's in vain, sometimes they get there. Like, technically Lucy does get to the moon. It's just, it comes with a catch.
And technically David does get to the top of the tower, but it's a technicality. But I think it's also like,
it's Night City though, right? You can have anything, it just comes at a price, and it might not, you'll get your wish, it just might not be in the form that you expected.
And no matter what world you're living in, whether it's like today or in 2077, like how important having those hopes and dreams are. for you to live a life with no regrets.
Definitely.
And die with a smile on your face like David did.
Yep.
Whether you get it in a way that you weren't thinking, or you get some of the way, or you do get to the moon, or whatever, like, at least you've kind of tried and you've gone out happy.
Yeah.
And how important those, like, goals and dreams are to ground you in a world that's on fire.
And yeah, making sure those goals and dreams are somewhat realistic,
Yeah.
and just knowing what you're getting into. 'Cause, I mean, there's plenty of parallels you can draw. With it's just peak capitalism, right?
Yeah,
It's like it's LA or Vegas, where it's like got all these promises of all this like glitz and glamour, and you turn up there and it's just gonna chew you up and spit you out.
Just sad.
You might get something,
Yeah.
but yeah, how much are you willing to sacrifice to get that? And this is like that taken to the absolute extreme. There's definitely a lot you can delve into the political stuff, but it's not really why I enjoyed it personally.
Yeah.
It's not my thing, but yeah, I loved all the characters and I still love the world. Yeah.
And I think even like the development with
The Fixer.
Yeah, like even realizing that he's just all part of the rat race himself.
Yeah.
Like nobody is getting out of the city really alive.
Unscathed.
Or unscathed.
Yeah.
Or like
Doesn't matter which side you're on.
without hurt or
Yeah.
some kind of repercussion to the life that they're living.
Everything comes at a price.
Yeah. And to see that, I guess that hierarchy of like no matter really how far up the food chain you're at, it's still just the same game
Yeah.
that you're
'Cause
playing.
He thought he had it all sorted.
Yeah.
Until he tries to order Adam Smasher around and finds out there's always bigger fish.
And even like having Adam Smasher in it, is so fucking cool. Like the boogeyman and just.
Yeah, I know some people didn't like him because he wasn't in it much, but he was never supposed to be in it much.
Yeah.
Like he's there as like the power scaling to show you how strong B is in the game. He's there as the boogeyman that he takes care of business. So.
And to give you a reality check on like when David says I'm special.
Yeah.
Like
no one's really that
you
special.
are, but not Adam Smasher special.
Yeah.
Like, hate to break
and Adam
it to
Smasher
you.
still thinks he's special, and yet, I mean, he's one of the final bad guys in the game, and he's not the main character, so I think you can assume how that goes.
Yeah. And I think even like keeping him low key helps to keep you grounded with David when David's like, well, I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be a rivalry.
Yeah. No.
He's just supposed to be there as this like wall that can't be passed by your average person to show you that David isn't as special as he thought he was. That you can have all those dreams, but whether you can live up to them is another story. And May is having that Foley character in there, who is just all energy, full noise the whole time. But she kind of helps to pick everyone up and keep that positivity in a world that's devoid of it. Yeah.
Some people wanted like a season 2, and I think like season 2 would be cool. Like we talked about if they did say like not a street kid this time, if they did like a corporate.
Yeah. Because there's no reason to drag it out and be like, here's Lucy part 2. It's like, no, that story's done.
Yeah.
Like, it wraps up really nice and clean. Let it die.
Yeah, we've seen the street kid life.
Yeah, it was awesome. We loved it.
It was
but it's
great.
done.
Yeah.
But if you did a different life path, if you focused on the corpos or the nomads, then that could be cool.
Yeah.
To see a little bit more of the world from a different perspective, from different characters.
So obviously this tattoo was of Lucy.
Yep.
Which, love Lucy. She's, I get it, best girl.
Yep.
Who do you reckon is best girl?
Becca.
I think we both agree.
No competition.
For us, Becca is best girl.
Yeah. I can see, I don't think it's as divisive as something like 0-2 and Ichigo, where it's like clearly 0-2, or even like Rem and Amelia, where it's like there is an argument for Amelia, even though Rem is clearly best girl. But with Lucy and Becca, it's more that they're both great. It's just different personality types.
Yeah.
So
they're both great in their own unique ways.
Yeah, and they both have their own way of like showing their love for David because they're both in love with him.
Yeah, and I think they both love him quite differently.
Yeah,
and obviously Lucy stole David's heart from the moment he saw her hair flip.
Yeah, of course. He hadn't even seen her head, like her face yet. She had only seen her hair.
Yeah.
But that was enough. And then once he sees her on the train, and really it's easy to see why he would fall for her as like the lost puppy that doesn't really have any sort of direction.
She's showing him the ropes.
And he's looking for some excitement in his life. He's at this boring school going to get a corporate job to work for the man. And
that he doesn't want.
Just, tick over some numbers, do the same old shit as everyone else. But
Mom's just died.
It's not him. Like, he says that to his mom, that like, he doesn't fit in there. He doesn't want that life. So then when she comes along and offers him a different life, one that's full of excitement and wonder and like fame and glory and adrenaline.
I mean, she literally shows him the moon on like their first date.
Yeah.
So it's like, fun, man.
They rob a train. It's literally the Bert Kreischer story. She turns him into the machine, and then he becomes the machine.
And like
one piece of cyberware at a time.
I guess also like shows him what he can be capable of with the Sandevistan.
Yeah.
As well, because he is pushing himself to the limit to pretty much impress her. Like, I can go again. I can go. It's like
he doesn't even know there's a limit. He doesn't even have his immunoblockers.
Yeah.
He does 8 pops in one day when it's supposed to be 2 would fry your average person.
She's pretty much showing him like this whole new side of himself and all this other stuff that's possible.
Yeah. And also at school, he's the kid who doesn't even have the right cyberware updates to be able to sit in class. Yeah. He fries everyone else's stuff just trying to turn up to class. Whereas when he brings his cyberware to the crew, they're all blown away by it. He's
Main literally wants it.
Yeah, that the leader wants his gear, and then he shows everyone up with how well he can use it. He goes from 0 to hero instantly. Yeah,
and shows that he can, like, for a kid who I don't think felt important, and I don't think he would feel important in that world.
No. Well, he was just another number at the start.
No one to then feel like someone.
And it was Lucy that gave that to him. As well as showing him love at the same time, like taking him on a date to the moon. And while she's still being like sort of avoidant about it, like when she goes in for the hug to give him the tracer. That's where it shows. He gets that look on his face, like, ooh, like.
Or being like, I let you in and I showed you my dreams, but like also it was just to get the crew in to then have words with you.
Playing hard to get, which he's clearly into. So yeah, that works too.
Yeah, she's definitely like the strong silent type of the best girls.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, you've got Becca, who's just like, I love you, David. Why aren't we dating already?
Yeah, she definitely wears her heart on her sleeve. It's like all emotion all the time. She's not afraid to say what she wants.
No. And she definitely lives in the now.
Yeah.
As opposed to Lucy, who I think is like more living in the...
She's stuck in her trauma of the past.
Stuck in the trauma of her past.
Which we don't get to see for quite a while because she puts on that badass face of like, oh, like, you know, I'm part of the Edgerunners and like I gotta act this way, like I've gotta be tough, like and then as that starts to crumble away, as their relationship develops, we see more of that, and that's where she withdraws because she's not ready to actually have any sort of commitment.
Yeah.
Whereas Becca is totally ready for anything right now, always.
Yeah. And I like that she's not willing, even though she loves David, she's still not willing to change herself to be more like Lucy.
No, she's authentic.
She's like, look, he's either gonna love me for me, and I wish he did, but I know that I'm not gonna sacrifice myself for that.
Yeah. She even says to Kiwi, like, should I shake up my approach? Like, instead of hot and loud, be like cold, distant, and nerdy. Yeah. But like you can tell the way her voice trails off when she says that, it's like not what she wants. She won't change herself for that. Yeah. But she's still aware of the situation. Yeah. And she wishes deeply that he would reciprocate. Yeah. But then she's also like, not just gonna shit on him because he's not into her. Like, she's still gonna be that best friend that's always there, that will do literally anything. She dies with him.
Yeah. And she doesn't get cut up or bitter about it.
No.
Like, there's a little bit of resentment to Lucy, but it's literally like, well, I'm glad you're here for David. You know, like,
she still wants what's best for him.
Exactly.
No matter what. She's that ride or die.
And that's true love. Like, as well. I'm not saying that Lucy's isn't, because I think probably is. Both of them are.
Just, yeah. Lucy's scared to accept or express that because, she can't let anyone in because of her upbringing, basically, that she was raised in computers and shat on while all her friends died, which would kind of mess you up a little bit and make you scared to attach to your new crew, let alone a new lover.
Yeah. And that's another cool thing that we see, especially, I think, with, like, Lucy and, well, like, every character, really, but, like, how Lucy and Becca handle their trauma is quite different as well. Because even though Becca loses as much as, like, everyone else in the crew does, she still just keeps doing Becca.
Yeah, she accepts it as part of life.
Yeah.
And just, still lives in the now. Although she does get a little more cautious after her brother goes.
Yeah.
And then, just like saying those little things to David, like, what was that? Like, you froze up. Like, you think I didn't notice? That,
like, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I might, like, seem like I'm over the top and, always having a good time, but I'm not seeing what's going on either.
If anything, she's watching him much closer from there.
Yeah.
And, like, even asking him to cut back on his cyberware or, like, not to use the same Never Stand. And knowing that he's not going to listen, but, like, that she has to try anyway.
Yeah.
Like, she's always got his best interests in mind.
And I think that's a really hard thing for a lot of people to accept, is, like, how Becca just accepts that, like, while she's been real cautious with David and, using the Saint Never Stand and all his immunoblockers and stuff, there's nothing that she can do to stop him.
No. But she also doesn't want to stop him. No. She wants what he wants.
Yeah.
But she also wants to help guide that to be the best him, which is awesome that she wants to bring out the best in him. But she's maybe loyal to a fault where she literally kills both of them.
Yeah.
Like assists and
But you can see that look on her face when she's like, oh man, like I really don't want to do this, but I know this is what you want. And like,
to the top.
I can only help you as much as you want to help yourself, which at this point is not at all, man.
Yeah.
So
you're one immunoblocker away.
Come with you on this journey that you've decided to pick.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a hard thing to let anyone that you care about do if you're not really agreeing with it.
Yeah. And I think that moment is quite important for her as well, where she puts in that last one. She kind of sighs and looks away, like shows a lot of emotion there, that she is actually aware of the decisions that she's making. Because until that point, you just see her dual wielding a shotgun and an assault rifle running headfirst into everything.
Yeah.
So it's not like she acts like she's definitely impulsive. Probably ADHD, but like she still does. She's aware of her actions and the consequences that they have, and still weighs that up when she's deciding what to do with David with his final decision. And, decides that she wants to fulfill her promise more than maybe try and talk him out of it.
Yeah, and I do think it's like the second half that I think makes me like Becca.
She's
more
there.
Because she's seeing David and all of this, whereas Lucy's just trying to save him from the outside, I guess.
Without ever talking to him.
Without that communication.
Which is her walls that she's put up. But it's maybe not the healthiest form of communication.
It's like when I asked you, like, do you think that if Lucy and David had actually like been open to each other and communicated better, like about him with his psychosis and her with what she was doing, do you think it would have had a happier ending? And it's like, that's a really hard question, because probably not.
Yeah, because he was so set on doing what he had to do, the same way that she was so set on doing what she had to do, but those didn't align.
Yeah.
And I don't think either of them were going to back down on that.
And they were both trying to, like, by the end, they were both trying to help the other the best way that they knew how.
Yeah.
In their own ways, and it just didn't work out.
No.
And I'm calling it a better tragedy than Romeo and Juliet, because I stick by that.
Yeah.
People can fight me on it. Like, I'm literally changed my mind guy, because like it is so tragic that they just like can't be together, and that the world that they're in just like
it's a similar thing where the world's against them, but unfortunately their trauma's also against them, and Adam Smasher's against them. They got a lot of stuff moving against them. Got a lot of
stacked.
Despite being such a great couple.
Yeah.
Like, just great characters.
Yeah. And I think there's like, you just really, you want that for them as well. And I'm not, I think there's like again, Trigger have done this really good balance thing where, like, yes, while it's a real tragedy and a sad ending, it didn't ruin the ruin the show.
No.
Like, it wasn't like, oh fuck, I hate that ending so much, I'm never gonna watch this again. Literally watched it like God knows how many more times.
Like when we first finished it, I was like, I don't know if I like that ending. And I was like, oh, like, it's just a big letdown after all that like build up to nothing, but the more I thought about it, the more it was an incredible ending, and it was the only way that it could have gone. Like,
and I think it just added to it, like, breaking my heart more, but knowing that that's just the reality that they're living in, and like
that's Night City.
Not everything's gonna work out. Like, even to pull that off, because we've watched a bunch of anime where it's like the ending has just ruined the entire anime for us, and just being like, that wasn't
Promise
worth
Neverland with looking at you.
Exactly. We're coming for you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's been some others too. And I think it is hard when you're doing a pretty down buzz ending, but then to still, like, just have David dying with a smile on his face and just knowing that it was all kind of worth it in some weird, fucked up, sad way.
It's just that city. Like,
Yeah.
It's the only way it could have ended.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that... Because, like, I thought it was paced too fast the first time we watched it, that it was rushed to the ending. But that's how it's supposed to feel. That's how it would feel living in Night City, is it's so fast you don't get to assess your decisions. You've already made 3 before you've thought about the first one.
Yeah.
Because they're just being thrown at you left, right, and centre. Like, it's a city that's so fast paced that, yeah, it's gonna feel like a run to your death.
Yeah.
Which is how the anime feels. Yeah, nothing is gonna go right. You're gonna have those constant, what's it called, obstacles.
Yeah.
But yes, it's not grim because it's how they overcome those together, and even when they don't, it's like, he died a legend.
Yeah.
He gets a drink at Afterlife.
Yeah. Gets him to the moon with her in a roundabout way.
Yeah, she gets there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so sad about that moon scene, how it was like actually the BD, the brain dance that was like lodged in her system, still getting like a flashback glitch. So what she was seeing was actually, she was experiencing him being there.
Yeah.
It wasn't just her memory of being like, oh, that time. It was like, no, it was she lived it.
Yeah. He was
So
he was
gross.
like he
So
was
dark.
there in a way
Yeah.
with her, which like I think just made me like, I cried when they finally got together at the end, but he was too far gone.
Yeah.
And then I
The
cried
song
again
plays
on
and
the
the
moon
moon's there.
because when that happened, and I was like, this is just terrible.
Yeah.
But I do kind of want to talk about our favorite episodes.
Yeah. With the main episode.
The main episode.
Yeah. I'd argue it's one of the best episodes of anime, period.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Especially for how much happens in that episode and what like a pivotal point it is
Yeah.
in the episode. And again, we're talking about a 10 episode anime, so
Yep.
it's like,
But in one episode, the amount of character development, like,
yeah,
just the intensity of that whole episode, like the soundtrack choice, the way they're like cutting to Main being in his younger form where he's getting delusional, like you're not
Yeah.
sure what he's seeing and what he's not. As he's coming to, as he's like, yeah, beating Dorio.
yeah. And it's really where like shit hits the fan and
Yeah.
everything changes. Like,
It's got a
fully.
countdown on it. Like,
Yeah.
They know the trauma team's coming. Like,
Yeah.
It's tense the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah. And like Main beating Kiwi, I think then
Yep.
sets her up to betray the crew.
Yeah. It would have been
Um,
interesting to see, like, if she hadn't gotten beaten up then. Would
Yeah.
she have actually softened up enough to let some of the crew in
Yeah.
instead of betraying them?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a real turning point for her.
And then Lucy then having to dive, like everything has a domino effect in that episode
Yeah.
that is played out so beautifully.
It shows you how much the crew all relied on each other.
Yeah.
And as soon as one of those falls, how much everyone else has to pick up the slack.
Especially when it's Main.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, the leader's gone,
The
so everyone
leader's
feels
gone.
scattered.
yeah.
Shows you how much he united the group.
And how David left on his own still isn't, like, he's still got that guilt, like when he's talking to the guy. And he's like, just come back to school, man. Like,
Yeah, I'll give
it's
you
what your
whatever
mum
you
would have
want.
wanted. I'll give you money. I'll do like this. I can't believe you're doing this. And you can see like this really torn look on his face. And it's like, while he's living this life and it is like better than what he had, he's still like,
Still questioning it.
yeah.
He's not 100% in
Yeah.
until that point. And literally from there, he's the leader.
all in.
He's
yeah.
Main,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Like, that flips him. That's his real decision making. That's where Lucy flips, because yeah, she has to step up and get in that ice bath. Something
Yeah.
she hasn't done since all of her friends died, and they
She's
like,
literally
get
facing
out
her
of there.
trauma on a just cool.
Yep.
Put her like just see if you can swim.
And what she finds in there is not what she wants either.
No.
It's like, yeah, everything that's going to lead to David's death.
Yeah. And then she realizes how much she loves David.
Yep.
When she's like, please don't go. Like,
Yeah, that's
she's
her
so
first
desperate.
emotional break. That's where you see her mask come down for the
Yeah.
first time. Yeah,
Yeah.
because she has been so avoidant that, yeah, when she does show emotion, because she does feel it, she just doesn't show it for the first few
Yeah.
episodes so much. Yeah, she's desperate. She's like, tell me I can do it. I need to hear you say it.
Yeah. And then he's like, aren't you going to tell me I can do it too? When
Yeah.
they're leaving the car, and it's like,
Yep.
don't use my own words against me, but
Yep.
like, fuck, everything's turning to shit, and I know I can't stop you either.
Yeah.
And then just David having to then be like, you know, he's so ready to fight with Maine till the bitter end, and then just freezes up again and realizes that he kind of can't.
Yep.
Because he hasn't fully made that decision yet, and then to come back with his arms.
Yeah.
And just be like, I guess it's on me now, and I have to step up to this. And
Yep.
this is like all in one episode, and it's
And yeah, he might have said that he
wild.
wanted that arm, but then when it comes to it, he's like, nah, he wants his friend.
Yeah.
But
it's like the weight
can't
of
have
what
everything.
you want as well. Like
Yep.
he was always like, oh, you know, I got my eyes on something else. I want those hands, and
Yeah.
then he gets them, and it's like, again,
he's
at
just
what cost?
a kid that's like, yeah, seeing all these big shiny things, like, hell yeah, I want that. But that's when he starts to see the cost.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he says that he will stand there and fight with him as drama team's coming, but it's just not the right choice. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of decisions that get made that episode.
Yeah. And he's only got, like, he used his Sandevistan so much in that episode that, like, he's really only got enough to get back to the car.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, he can't
Even his
save Maine.
Sandevistan isn't, like, enough, you know, at that point. Like,
And even if, like, he could have got Maine out of there, like, Maine's gone. Like,
yeah.
mentally, he's checked out.
He says that, he's like, the Reapers come for me, or whatever he says,
and the way that's
it.
shown by the increasing sort of like lapses in consciousness is like, yeah, he's going back to his younger self in that desert, walking through.
Yeah, on his run.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't think there's been an episode of anime that has packed so much character development, so much emotion, so much storytelling, and just like
Tension,
just
action.
everything into one episode, and I still don't think it felt rushed.
No.
Like, it was just beautifully
It was
done.
fast, but that doesn't mean it was rushed.
No. Yeah.
And like that's how it would have felt being there. Like they knew Trauma Team was coming. Like,
Yeah.
There was parts where it
Everything's
felt
on a
like time
countdown.
slowed down, but overall you knew it was all happening in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. And even Lucy just like, I think at one point she had given up to the fact that like he probably wasn't coming back to that car.
No.
Like she was just like,
Even when he
Okay,
zips back,
he's
she's
done.
kind of like,
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
yeah. Hopefully I get sweet potatoes in it.
Yay! And hopefully I get to do some more.
Yeah.
But yeah, just massive thanks to Ben for getting this piece, and his best girl, Lucy. Thank you for chatting with me about
okay.
Cyberpunk. I'll pop Brock's stuff down below
Yeah.
with his links and things. If you want a Cyberpunk tattoo, you can holler at him. And let us
Do it.
know if you want more of us chatting anime that we've watched. Or, yeah, I feel like some people might just want us giving some reviews.
Yeah.
We watch a lot of anime.
We do. In Riceville.
We've been going through our My Anime lists.
They're long.
They're long.
We've
And
seen a
some
lot.
of our thoughts, I think, are a little controversial.
I got some hot takes.
We got some hot takes. So yeah, let us know if you've enjoyed us talking shit about anime, and if you want more of it.
Yeah.
Go. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.